I've been struggling a lot with the problem of the right choice. I was spending hours and hours to find the most optimal and suitable decision. And several days later, I wasn't sure about it anymore. This lasted many years, until one day. But before we talk about this solution, I would like to share my thoughts about possible sources of this problem. First one, it's a dopamine boost. Our body can release different hormones in different situations, like serotonin, endorphin, testosterone, and so on. But in our problem, the dopamine is the most important one. So I will tell you why. For example, when you are dreaming about something, when you are seeing your future goals, like your success and your path to it, when you are planning and dreaming about it, your brain will release some dopamine. So you will get really cool. It's like a cool hormone, and when you get it, it's the greatest feeling. So, and the second situation, when you are really achieving something, when you're like doing real job, doing real stuff, and when you are succeeded, you've got some dopamine. And actually, these two situations for your brain are almost the same. Like, you've done something, you've got some dopamine, or you were thinking about something and you've got some dopamine. So I think this one, it's the first step that can absorb your real progress, and that will make you stay at the same place. Second thing is energy preservation. Our body always tries to save the biggest amount of energy as possible. So in case of using our brain, you know, it's a really energy consuming task, and our brain can use up to 20 or 25% of total energy of the body. To solve this problem, our brain always tries to automate things, and if it can't automate, it will try to avoid it. So in our case, when we have a goal, when we have a path that we would like to take and go to our success, I would say, it's really it's an uncomfortable process. You will need to learn many different stuff, many different skills which you don't know yet. And your brain will tell you that, oh man, it's kind of difficult. Maybe you can just dream about it and it will be enough. You will get the same amount of hormones, you will spend less energy, so maybe you should think about it. And because of it, it's really tricky and difficult to overcome this second step. The third trick is inflating the importance of the choice. So I'll explain. Our brain, my brain particularly, when it's time to take a decision, it starts to think that this choice is a really important one. It says me that it's so important that you can't make a mistake, because you will be implementing this stuff all your life. I don't know why my brain say this, but it's kind of tricky. And when I hear that, I start to put a lot of pressure on me. I start to think that, oh, okay, so if this choice is so important for me, so I need to think about it very, very carefully. I need to think about all possible outcomes and all possible problems and difficulties that I will be facing in the future. And when I start to think about all this stuff, I understand that, wow, it's actually, I can't actually make this decision. I will postpone it, I will try to avoid it, I will always be thinking about it, but I will never choose. So let's go back to the story which I started in the beginning of this video. I was spending hours and hours to make the most optimal decision. And even if I found it several days later, I wasn't sure about it anymore. And this lasted many years until one day. And this day I was thinking about the same problem. I had three choices to do in my head, and I was really anxious about it because I didn't know what to choose and to work on, because these three things that I really love and I would like to develop myself in it. And after a lot of time and a lot of procrastination during this process of thinking, I told myself, okay, just take one thing, try it for a long period of time, like 6 months, maybe 1 year, and doesn't put any pressure on you. Just try, and if you will notice that actually I'm able to continue to do this for many years, then continue to do it. If not, so pick another stuff. Pick another stuff and try it. And even if you will spend like 3 years on trying these three things, you will understand that, okay, I tried this, it doesn't work for me, so let's go to the next one. And it's actually cool, because you will not spend time by thinking without any actions.
It's a rainbow. It's a real rainbow.